University of Detroit Mercy's head men's lacrosse coach, Chris Cullen, coming off a rather tough loss on the road to South Carolina at Queens, 9-5. Long bus ride down. And Chris, maybe just kind of give us an idea of what was the bus ride back was. It had to be pretty sad.
It was a pretty long one, lots of traffic. So, we had a pretty good win on Wednesday that, we executed a game plan. Guys did very well on that. And then they just to go on the road playing a team that had been on the road and hadn't had much success and was ready for a home game, kind of like we were ready for a home game on Wednesday. We just weren't mentally, emotionally, or physically ready to play on Saturday.
Can you blame that on any experience?
No, because we've got upperclassmen that know how to do it. I think some of our underclassmen haven't been doing the best job of taking the experience from our upperclassmen and applying it. So, experiential learning is great, but we have some guys that know what they're doing, and we just don't have enough of them. And on the ones that don't know what they're doing in these situations, are learning the hard way.
Just playing midweek. Now you obviously had a great game against Robert Morris. We're going to talk briefly about that. You have this, your first win of the season. You kind of think maybe you're over the hump a little bit. But my question is, does the midweek games hurt that quick turnaround of playing on Saturday with that long bus ride?
Well, we gave a good effort. 3 games is a tough time, right? 3 games in 10 days. And this was the third one having some travel attached to it. So it's tough, but it's first world tough. It's not anything that if you don't prep yourself correctly and you don't, emotionally, mentally, and physically get yourself ready for that you can't do. It's a long bus ride, but a flight with 50 guys is a long day. Maybe you're saving 2-3 hours of hotel time. That's it. So we have to learn how to do it. We have to be better, and we have to be more disciplined, and we have to be a little more grown up about it.
What do you tell your team in the locker room?
I'm telling them exactly what I'm telling you.
Okay.
We warned them as coaches. We've been here when we've been pretty steady. We gave them a great game plan, but I can tell you, on Thursday and Friday, we were very clear that we didn't think we were ready to play in that game, and we still, statistically, if you look at the stat sheets, we won all the things that you're supposed to do to win a game, except, when you shoot 20 sometimes on cage, 40 some shots, 20 some on cage, and you're only scoring what you score. That should be a point of pride for our offensive guys, especially our attack, that, they're not answering the call the way they should.
Your face-off guy did really good. You had a high percentage. I think you won most of the face-offs. But again, I understand statistically that's not the case. Do you see any light there as moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get back at it, and I mean, I unfortunately in my life at a school like Detroit, we've been in this situation before. We've put our backs against the wall towards getting into our conference tournament, but it's still doable, right? So, and we've been with less odds and where we've gotten into our conference tournament in the past. So it's about, mentally, physically, and emotionally being prepared. It's about learning from your mistakes and growing. And that's what we do as coaches. That's what we're supposed to guide them to do. And that's what, team sports is about. So, we've got a very hot Lindenwood team this week. We've got a rest and a home game, but those guys come at you with everything they've got. They're very confident. That lots of they like to talk a lot. They like to cheer. They like to cheer in your face. They like to do a lot of things like that. And we have to be mentally tough to be ready to beat them. So we're going to prepare them the best way we know how, and hopefully we're going to continue to maybe learn a little bit from this, a little success and a little bit of failure. Hopefully it's a learning situation.
If the antagonism that comes from a Lindenwood team that likes to get in your face, you obviously have to keep your cool. And your teams have been pretty scrappy over the years. What do you do to temper those kids to understand they can't be in the box for the whole game?
Well, we don't. I mean, again, each team is new, and unfortunately, one of the things I'm struggling with right now is I feel really bad for our alumni who have shown a lot of discipline and toughness to the scrappiness. They're scrappy, but they're in control. We've had some Marist Detroit games and some MAC games that have gotten where guys come in and they go at you pretty hard verbally, and we've really kept our cool and just worried about winning the game. So we're gonna hope we can do that. But yeah, we've got to teach this group that some of our guys in the past have performed that way. That's how we're going to have to perform moving forward in a very disciplined and tough way. I look at that kind of stuff as being out of control.
I asked that question because your faceoff guy got a cross check late in the game on Saturday, and I want to say it was maybe 2.5 minutes left when you may or may not have had a chance to make a run at it. But those kinds of penalties in those situations you just can't have at the Division I level.
Yeah, at that point, I think it was pretty late. We just needed to make a play. I think that was a key one that he had lost, and we kind of ran by it on the ground ball. So at that point, you either you push them from behind and you either get the ball, or you push them behind, and they're either going to get the ball either way, right? So we had so many opportunities up to that point where it was a 1-point game and a 2-point game that we made one-handed ground balls, missed passes, missed opportunities that there's so many opportunities up to that 1 point that where we could have easily controlled the game just with better shot selection throughout, from the first quarter all the way to the fourth quarter. We could have controlled that game a lot better.
The highs and the lows of last week. Is your team mature enough to close the door and move on to Lindenwood?
We got practice today at 1. I'll let you know.
Okay. For answer.
So, we are the staff. We're consistent. We've been through this type of situation many times where we've been, knocking on not making our conference tournament and then turn it around. So I feel really good about the staff and the adults. I feel really good about some of the guys that have been here prior to COVID. And I hope we take on their mentality and we take on our coaching staff mentality and do the best we can with it.
Okay. Well, best of luck this coming Saturday. Doubleheader, noon at Titan Field. You guys play Lindenwood. The women play at 4:00. So get a chance to come out to UD Mercy and see that great lacrosse play and take the opportunity.
Thanks for doing this.
Welcome back. We're talking with John Losey, who is the lead broadcaster for the University of Detroit Mercy Titans men's lacrosse program here in Detroit. And John, you and I are broadcast partners, and I just thought we'd take a couple seconds and talk a little bit about what was a good and a bad week for the Titans. Huge win.
Yeah. No, good to see you, Greg. Yeah. It was it was the high and the low in my book. And it just I gotta tell you, it really affected my Saturday. Let's just say that.
Big win, Robert Morris at home. Just an incredible victory to kind of get the monkey off your back at 0-6 to go to 1-7. Then a long bus trip down to Queens, down to South Carolina. And you got to wonder, and that's a question I'm going to have with Chris Cohen, who's the head coach in a couple of minutes. You got to wonder if the bus drives, I'm not looking for excuses, but the reality to it is to only put up 5 goals against a brand new team in the league. I was shocked.
Yeah. No, I was like I said, it ruined my Saturday, and I was shocked too, and I couldn't believe it. You had said something, and you said this a couple times in the Robert Morris game. When are we going to see the real Robert Morris step up? And I was thinking the same exact thing as I'm watching, the Titans on Saturday, because Queens was missing 5 starters. They had a backup goalie in there. The weather was nice, and it just. They never got it going.
You wonder if the youth that Chris talks about learning to play gets a big win over a good team like Robert Morris, and then you kind of sit. But the interesting part of the Robert Morris aspect that I think is getting lost is they've lost 4 of their last 5 games.
Yeah.
So did we win over a team in Robert Morris that was maybe better than what we thought they should have been?
Yeah, I think Chris will tell you, they'll take it any way they can get it. So, but you look at the talent level. You look at the talent level at Robert Morris up and down, and yeah, they're not playing well right now. But from a talent standpoint, it's a great win no matter how you look at it. And then you really you think about the letdown and the bus ride, and it's just. I think it's just a hard situation when you put everything all together. When you look at the state of of the, of your UDM and really the program as a whole, the support and the bus drives. And, I think it's just a hard situation, especially with the young kids too, and the emotional aspect of it.
It's interesting. You look at the schedule. They beat Robert Morris. Then you think they've got two brand new teams. In this case, Lindenwood coming up Saturday at noon. And you also obviously had the chance to go down to and play the Queens team. So I thought, well, maybe you get on a roll. 3-6, not so bad. You're going to end up being 3-0 in the league.
Yeah.
And then bang. You wonder if this is a drill killer.
Yeah, you almost think, are you looking ahead? Are you already counting those two as wins? Like, hey, we beat Robert Morris. We're feeling good about ourselves. We're putting it together. The positive. I mean, I was in Callahan Hall after the game, and all the when the players walked in, the fans and the parents were there cheering them on, and it was great, and it really was infectious. But then you got to build off of that, I can't speak to what was going on down there, because you look at a couple of aspects. I look at the numbers, and faceoffs jumps out at me, right? I mean, they won the faceoff battle, and they haven't done that all year, and they really struggled at it. And so you look at the numbers and you go, wow. And you look at the shots, and they were just missing the cage. They were getting looks, and then the goalie played very well, and he was a backup goalie. So it just wasn't good.
Did the low production of goals surprise you? And I say that there was only 14 goals scored, 9-5. If you're a Division I program, you got to hit more than 5 goals. I can't imagine winning by only scoring 5 goals.
No, you're not going to win many games at this level, scoring just 5 goals. I watch it. I watched it again. So I watched it twice. And, the Titans did a lot of good things, a lot of positive things they haven't done all season. But the one thing they forgot to do was put the ball in the back of the net. I mean, that should have been a 15-9, 16-9. I think they probably gave up what they should have. I thought Hemi played well. I thought the defense played. I mean, they played well enough to win, but offensively, especially when having more opportunities, the offensive players just did not step up.
20% off on hitting the cage from the Robert Morris game, and about 17% over their normal average, which, again, you're not looking for excuses in reference to the bus rides. Everybody's got bus rides in this league. I mean, that's just the nature of the ASUN.
Yeah.
So you hope it's not it's not a drill killer. You just hope that it's in one of those situations that it moves it forward. And obviously a new team coming in with Lindenwood, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with that game.
Yeah, and so now they're right back on the hot seat again. This is, when you look at the schedule, as you mentioned, I mean, this is a must win for them, I think, from a season perspective, because, you don't know if they're going to get another one. I mean, they're not going to be favored in any other ones. I don't even know if they'd be favored in this one based on the performance down at Queens. But, the offense has got to step up, long shots. I mean, they made that goalie look like Quint Kesnick. I commented on Twitter. I said, you made him look like Quint Kesnick out there, because a lot of the shots were directly into him, or they missed the cage. And so, it just didn't flow very well for the Titans offensively.
All right. Well, I don't want to dwell too much and beat up on the Titans at this point.
No.
We've had this conversation, but reality is Lindenwood comes in and plays a noon game, and hopefully everything will be turned off in the right place. And
yeah. I mean, like I always say, Greg, I mean, there's a reason that the windshield is bigger than the rearview mirror, and the Titans have to take that attitude. And yeah, it's behind them. It's still there, but they got to improve, and they got to look forward, because it's going to get difficult again with those teams in the ASUN Conference.
All right, John. We appreciate the time, and we will catch up with you on Saturday.
Saturday, 12 noon.
Thank you.
All right.